Hi,
Monica. Hi,
hello,
Piyush.
hello, Piyush.
Hello, man.
So I tried mock test. So in mock test one, four questions were wrong, but I kind of got to know why these were wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
And but other thing that I wanted to check with you, how much to study for the framework?
Not much.
Because when
Uh,
I
uh,
went into the domain reading also, it was not too much also in that one. So and since as per the new thing, it is going to be 17%, right, for the domain one. So what is your point of view? I mean, what is more important? These were some of the questions that I had.
See, if you ask me,
Mm.
should be aiming at a multi-pronged approach. One is the gathering of knowledge, and
Mm-hmm.
second, getting a certification. So when
Mm-hmm.
you ask me getting a certification, then in-depth knowledge you will not be tested. But when you, since you are doing a pace study where you're taking a decent amount of time and doing it the first time, and then in the initial phase, I would say that the more and more you can invest your time in going deeper into the various important things like framework
Mm-hmm.
is one of them. So not all
Okay.
the frameworks, but yes,
Mm.
one framework you should understand in totality. Maybe see a YouTube video understanding that framework in totality. Something which is
Okay. Okay.
aligned to your itself, your company itself. So once you
Okay.
do when you have the basic understanding of that particular framework, all are generally similar. Catering for CIA of information security, right? So the basic
Right.
principle remains the same. Methodology changes a little bit. So one, you understand in deep so that your understanding builds on framework. That is a
Hmm.
recommendation. But come to the exam point of view, it is not at all required. Just knowing the name and just basics of that is enough. The gist of the framework would be enough.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
In fact,
Understood.
you will not
Understood.
be tested for any framework by name other than, I think, COBIT and things which are mentioned in the manual itself. Other than that, they don't
Uh,
generally vendor specific. They are not vendor specific. They don't test you for basic framework or things, right?
okay. 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 Mm-hmm.
What you can see on the slide, what I'm sharing, what is written.
Roles and responsibilities.
Okay, so it's a black slide, white roles and responsibilities, right?
Right. Right.
So this is where we had left last
Mm.
to last. And
Right.
what do you understand by role, and what do you understand by responsibility?
So basically, roles comes the responsibility. Responsibility meaning that what would be my day-to-day activities where I am responsible of executing, or so it is little different from accountability though. But basically, the one who is executing, the one who is daily involved, or the activities that they are responsible for, and on the basis of roles, responsibilities are being assigned. So rules majorly define the job description or what you're supposed to do, and responsibility is it gets into the details of it.
Okay.
That's how I understand it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Something more about a role. When you say that leave the responsibility part, let's only focus on role. So, what do you understand by a role in any company?
Role means basically, like for example, I mean, roles I understand is basically roles comes with the job description per se. Like in this role, you are supposed to do this and this. So, meaning if you are like a manager, then your role would be different. If you are a analyst, then your role would be different. So, role is
Right.
basically giving the umbrella of basically the overview of earlier we used to have titles also in the organization. Now these are
Yeah.
all role-based organization, meaning that
Perfect.
whatever is your role is on the basis of that you have to perform the activities.
Right. So I would make you imagine that Spider-Man movie in which he is hanging upside down, right? And I think his
Mhm.
grandma or his grandfather tells him that with a great power comes great responsibility. So I'm
Yes,
sure that is
yes,
a very famous dialogue, and you would be able to
yes,
visualize. Now,
yes, yes.
again, when we say greater power is the great role, basically, which you rightly said that earlier there used to be titles, and what is defined is a role refers to one's position in the team, right?
Mm,
So where you are
mm,
placed in the hierarchy, and based
mm,
on that, you have supposed to do your work which probably which will be various responsibilities and accountabilities which will be assigned to you, right? So that is where the role comes. And responsibilities refer to the task and duties of that particular role or the job description. So when you get elevated to a particular role from a lower to a higher, your responsibilities shift, right?
Shifts. Yes.
Yes, you get higher responsibilities. You have to do perform higher responsibilities now. But the point is that that is the thing about roles and responsibilities. But from cybersecurity perspective, here and I will give you an example where many organizations falter is that somebody with a lower responsibility have certain degree of access, right? Now when he gets elevated, mostly what happens is that that access of a lower role is also continues with that person, and when he goes up the ladder he gets additional access rights.
Like maker and checker. Like the maker
Yeah.
always is
So
at
yeah.
the
So
upward.
absolutely. So he will have some maker rights and there will be some checker rights, and there will be some things which a maker should not have access to and something which a checker should not have access to. But when a maker becomes a checker, unfortunately, most of the organizations they continue to give him both the rights because nobody has reviewed it. And he is not an
Right.
employee but left the organization. He continues to be the same employee. So he gets elevated, he gets the additional right, and the previous rights out of which some rights should have been taken back, they are not taken back. So he generally have both the rights, and that is wrong as far as the principle of least privilege is concerned. So that is
Yes.
why that is one of the security issue which as a information security manager you should definitely see that whenever a person gets elevated to a new role, he should the previous privileges, access management rights and privileges should be revoked and the newer one should be assigned to him, and that should be diligently recorded somewhere. Somebody should be reviewing these kind of things, otherwise there is a likelihood of breach of information. So that was just
Yes.
a some other thing which I just wanted to tell you. But what we are discussing at this point of time is difference between roles and responsibility, which we have understood. Now again, understanding the difference between responsibility and accountability. What is the difference between responsibility and accountability?
So, accountability means you are the owner of it. Ultimately, accountability lies at you. You are the owner of the process, or you are the ultimate whose neck is on the
Yeah,
radar if something
absolutely.
goes wrong. But the responsibility is more like this team or this particular person is responsible, meaning that is his or her duty to perform this job. But they might not be the owner of that activity. If something goes wrong, then they cannot be held accountable. Ultimately accountability lies with the accountable person, and that person comes with additional responsibility of reviewing, managing, governing the process or activity or some such, because ultimately that person is accountable.
Absolutely. The understanding is crystal clear. I'll just
Mm,
put my points onto the discussion. That is, while responsibility refers to someone's duty carry
mm,
out
mm,
a task to completion.
mm,
Any task, specific task, completion of that is a duty. The person who is responsible is duty bound for task completion. Once he
mm,
has
mm,
completed that task, once he has
mm, mm,
done the update of the server, his responsibility finish at that point of time. He has done the update. That was his task.
mm,
So his
mm,
responsibility is over. Now,
mm,
accountability is generally referred to what happens after something has happened. So accountability is therefore concerned with the consequence of someone's action rather than his
mm,
initial duty to carry out that action. So in this particular example, the update should finally result in securing, in enhancing the security of the server, right?
mm, mm, mm,
But eventually what happens, the update, the patches were not compatible and a few of the softwares are starts behaving erratically. Now you say that this person is accountable for that is incorrect.
mm, mm, mm,
Was
mm,
responsible for updating. He has done that. Now, when
mm,
you
mm.
say he should have done testing in a test environment and checked whether the patches are compatible with the existing softwares, and they behave the manner they are supposed to behave, all blah 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 blah. If that was assigned was part of his responsibility, then yes, then he is responsible. But if he was just responsible for updating, then he is not accountable for the consequence. The accountability of the consequence rests with the manager who has assigned him the some other person who is responsible for testing. There could be a person who is responsible for updating those tested patches into the production, and then thereafter these two people together have done a complete task for which total accountability is with the manager who has assigned them those roles, right? So there is a difference. Accountability is therefore concerned with the consequence of someone's action rather than the initial duty. And if you remember in the last class, I had said that responsibility can be delegated.
Responsibilities can be delegated.
But
Yes.
accountability cannot.
Mm-hmm.
You are accountable, although you are taking assistance of a few of your subordinates and you are delegating your responsibilities to them. But ultimate accountability still remains with you as a manager, that all the processes are diligently undertaken, and it is your responsibility to review them periodically or give that oversight, right? So now we are coming to the word oversight. So what do you understand by oversight?
Oversight means checking basically, or just looking at or supervising that everything is fine. Like you are oversighting the process that everything is going fine, but you are not doing a thorough review per se. Review could be like a checklist based or something, but oversight means that you are just ensuring that everything is going as per it should go.
Absolutely. So basically, you may not be involved in that particular task, but there will be some checks and balances in place, which would give you a indication that the particular task which that person has performed on your behalf has happened in the correct manner, the way it's supposed to happen. So oversight refers to the action taken to review and monitor the policy, plan, program, projects, or whatever task which was supposed to be reviewed. So you are able to review and monitor, and that is what is oversight. So if there is anything which is not happening the way it's supposed to happen, you should have a proper review and monitoring process as a manager in place, wherein you can catch hold immediately that yes, this supposed thing was supposed to be like that, it is not happening. So that is the responsibility of you as a manager to give that oversight, although you have delegated your this certain responsibilities to your support, right? Clear?
Yes, yes.
What is rights?
Rights are access right, you're saying, or just the right?
No, difference between rights and responsibility. General. When we say I have a right to this, or I have a difference between right and.
So responsibilities. So rights are
So
basically
remember,
if.
we are in domain one where we are talking of governance, right? So everything what I'm discussing is aligned to organizational governance, and the subset of it is information security governance. So we are generally aligned to governance and information security governance context when we are discussing.
Okay, okay. So right would mean that, like for example, responsibility is like day-to-day activities and all that. When you are saying that as so and so person, I am responsible to execute so and so. But in that case, I would need. I may have certain kind of rights, meaning as an auditor, I have a right to audit. So that is not part of my responsibilities day to. I mean, that is part of the responsibility day to day, but meaning that I can go and audit any unit or anyone whom I feel like I should audit as per the risk profile. And also right is basically it comes, and from the access right perspective, if we talk about it would be more like to execute this responsibility, I would require such and such kind of access. So I would have my rights to get into that system, to get it, and then perform my responsibilities.
Yeah. Basically, right. If we go by again, my points are like rights are the freedoms that we have, that that are protected by laws or company policies kind of. So if you don't have a right to access a system itself, you will not be able to perform the jobs which you are assigned, right? So certain rights come with the role which you are hired. So those those become your inherent rights. So if those are not provided to you, you will not be able to perform in that. Whereas responsibilities are the duties once you get those rights, right? Once you have those rights, now you have certain responsibilities which are duties or things that we should do assigned to it. So if the basic rights are not available, you will not be able to perform your responsibility. But once you have them, then there is no reason for you to not do that. So again, with great power comes great responsibility. The greater rights you are having, the greater responsibility is existing, right? And okay, so we discussed the rights also. Now I will move forward into the presentation when we have understood the basic concept, various terms and terminologies. So we have now various roles and responsibilities in the organization, and that we are at the governance level. So let's go top down and let's discuss. To start with is the senior management. In the senior management, we start with board of directors. Now the board of directors are the people who are responsible and accountable for everything which happens in the business, and they are directly responsible and accountable to the shareholders and the business owners for business growth, development, profit, and things like success of the business. And so information security is the sub domain to all of that. So they are, for information security perspective, they are duty bound to provide governance, as well as they're accountable for giving that information security governance to the so ultimate responsibility. Whenever in a question you say ultimate responsible, ultimate accountable, that is always a board of. Right. Now coming to the under them is the executive manager. So this is a classic structure which generally used to be followed. A few companies don't follow them, but most of the companies are aligned to this structure only. And ISACA covers organization in this format, in this hierarchy. So we will understand this, and questions will be aligned to this hierarchy only. So now next is the executive management. Executive management will work under board of director, and they will be implementing effective security governance and define the strategy, the long-term objectives of information security for their organization. The most important thing which we expect from executive management is the budget and support. So you as an information security manager will not be at the executive level. You would expect them, or you would like, or you would demand a budget and support from them, so that the information security is implemented the way it's supposed to. And they should give you a strategic objectives towards information security. As a subject matter expert, they may call you and they may discuss with you, they may take your opinion, and finally they will be the one who will be signing off all those policies and for information security trends at a governance level, right? Now, most important body which you would be directly part of would be a steering committee.
Yes, yes.
Now, this steering committee is a bunch of stakeholders who are impacted by security consideration, and they are supposed to give oversight and monitoring for the security program, of which you from the information security perspective, you will be the headmaster. So when the steering committee is being has assembled, and their information security things are being discussed, then probably you would be the one who will be the beacon of light and giving all the considerations which are extremely important. And there would be some IT stakeholder, there would be some business stakeholder, there are multiple stakeholders. They will voice their objections. So you should be having a respectable knowledge to make them understand that why what you are saying is of importance, and in a manner that in a manner and the language and the context that they understand from their perspective. Suppose if I have a business and I want I'm hellbound that no, this should happen, and you have an opinion, no, this should not happen. You should be having a skill set that you are able to explain him in his terms and conditions, so that he understands with clarity, so that final outcome is what you want, you are able to achieve, rather than you also telling him in some technical terms wherein he is not able to. So there is where your communication skills and using a language which is appropriate for that particular appropriate stakeholder is paramount, right? Understood?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oversight and monitoring of security program. Now what is crucial in these three board of director, executive management, and steering committee? There are three basically apex level bodies where the information security actually is directly impacted at enterprise level, at the governance level, and the end result, what outcome finally we want, or senior management commitment. All this should
Yes.
transpire into senior management, because whatever steering committee is finally agreeing upon, it goes to the executive management, and executive management will definitely take approval from board of directors before making any enterprise level policy or assigning budget or giving support. So finally, your board of directors should be the senior management. Basically, the entire senior management should show some commitment to information security, and that support of senior management is crucial for success, because it directly transpires to budget allocation. It directly transpires to direction and policy in matters of information security, and it directly transpires to reporting and monitoring, because reports are generating, and it's not monitored. Nobody is even valuing those reports. Nobody is understanding them. Then the whole purpose is lost. So their commitment is the most important to have a successful information security program running in an organization. So it is not a bottom up, it is a top down approach. And rarely out of the experience, it has been seen that bottom up approach for management in terms of information security has been successful. It has never been a success when bottom up approach is used. It is always a top down.
Okay.
What can be the answer to this?
How can we obtain continuous management support for the security program? By explaining them the risk or the security risk which is aligned with their business objectives. So that is how we can have a continued management support, because ultimately these people would understand if they have a desired state to go, like they have a business objective. So in that business objectives, what could be the key security consideration or things that they need to consider, and that's where their commitment would be.
Absolutely. Risk assessment is one of the tools by which the business owners, the senior management become serious when they see the risk assessment, and when they realize whether it is quantitative assessment or qualitative assessment, when they see the impact to the business, when they finally see the organization bleeding in future. Like, you are always a proactive person, you are not a reactive person. So you preempt what can go wrong in future. And when they see indecision resulting into organization bleeding, they are bound to act. They become little more committed, and you achieve that commitment to good risk assessment, and which is one of the major tools in getting the senior management commitment. So as a member of a steering committee, a good risk assessment would take all the stakeholders on board firstly, and once the stakeholders are on board, then the steering committee would send some recommendations up the ladder, and there is where you will generate your commitment from senior man. You will be able to give oversight. You will be able to liaise between various verticals, and you would be able to assess and incorporate results of risk assessment activity into the decision making process, because you've done the assessment, and the assessment has generated the seriousness. Now that will aid in your decision making process eventually, and it will ensure that interest. Basically, why will they help you out? Why will they agree to your point of view? Because it is in their interest. So interest of all the stakeholders are addressed is the key to the final outcome what we are looking at, and that interest is aligned to the business. So finally, all the stakeholders are working to enhance their domain for business development, and you are also doing the same job. And since it is impacting all of them, their interest is taken care, and that is how the final outcome is resulting in overall compliance in the organization in all the verticals, and you're achieving your ultimate objective of a higher state of information security in organization becoming more and more mature in terms of information security.
Okay.
Now, there are multiple roles. So on the top ladder is a CISO. CISO for the information security perspective is the head in the subject matter, the ultimate subject matter expert in that organization, whom mostly all the C-level executives refer to whenever they want any advice. So he is also responsible for enterprise level policies, which should be he should not be he is not responsible to make the policies, but he is responsible to review the policies, that the basic policies are in place and are followed diligently. So he is a more of a auditor, or a more of a providing oversight to the various things. And few of the policies even he is authorized to sign off when he says that he has to. But eventually he is ultimately accountable for information security being diligently followed in the organization. He may not be directly responsible for certain policies which should be enforced. They will be the responsibility of the various vertical heads, or the at the enterprise level, maybe the board of directors themselves should be signing off some policies, and that all the CISO should monitor diligently. And if they are not existing, then he should advise them. And if he's given that job, no, okay, you only prepare, then he should prepare and sign it off and give it to the right. Then he is also responsible to ensure that investigations, he should give oversight to various investigations. What is the outcome? How is it a case study for the entire organization to learn how that particular breach or a particular shortfall has impacted the whole organization? It may be that one or two persons are penalized, but that is not the ultimate aim of investigation. The ultimate aim of investigation is to have a learning value for the entire organization. So thinking from that higher platform to the higher objective, the CISO definitely is involved in the outcome of the investigation, how things have to be mitigated there. He is definitely going to be overseeing the testing process. If any new information security product has been rolled out, so before that, what is it tested, what are the results, any new product which is getting rolled out, what are the from the information security perspective, he should be kept into the chain, and his approvals needs to be taken, and he should give that oversight that yes, the diligent testing process has been followed, and then he should then thereafter clear that, and then the product can be rolled out. And the compliance part, so various compliance matrix or various compliance performance indicators and things like that, he should monitor to ensure that overall information security in the organization is always correct, right person. Since IS is providing IT security backbone, so IT planning, budgeting, and performance is also, he should be the part of that also. At least he should be kept in the chain, so that he is aware of what newer developments are happening in the IT landscape of the organization, so that he can plan the information security accordingly, upgrade or downgrade or whatever, based on the various IT projects which are going to be rolled out in future in the organization.
Okay.
Now, under the CISO, there would be a few managers, or one manager. Now, the information security manager. Now, this is where you will be pitched in after the certification. The certification is preparing you to become a CISM, so Certified Information Security Manager. So this is your role post certification, where you are responsible for running a successful security program. So risk management, you are actually an information security risk manager. So your main role is, again, as you rightly brought out, is risk management, risk assessment, and management of the, and making people aware of that if a process is a risky process, then it should immediately be secured, and advising how the risk can be mitigated. You can give 1, 2, or 3 options, and what are the pros and cons of choosing those options. And based on the amount of funds available or given to that particular project, the project heads or can thereafter choose one of the ways and give their recommendation that okay, we will take this option because because of constraint of funds and this. And then finally, who is approving and signing off is the senior management. It is not again you as a person who will be held accountable for it. The accountability again rests with the senior management, that you have not chosen the best option available to because of paucity of funds, and you are accepting the residual risk which will be generated due to your choosing a second best. So that signing off the responsibility of senior manager. So that has to be crystal clear, and there should not be any conflict of interest in the organization when this comes to who is responsible, finally accountable. There should not be any conflict of interest in that. It is very clear in all the at least the ISACA makes it extremely clear that it is ultimate accountability rests with the senior management only. Now, playing a lead role, which I've already just told you, introducing an appropriate structured methodology. So you giving your advices, you're giving a methodology, you're giving your technical advice as well as how it is supposed to be done. That advice definitely people expect from you, and act as a major consultant, right, to support this. So as a CISM certified person, these are your key roles where organization would like you to perform. So next person who would you be definitely interacting multiple times would be a business manager or a functional manager working under them. So these are the guys who are totally aligned to their business. They are fighting against the time. They are the people who are having extreme high degree of stress in making their business success, and any impact to any time impact or any cost impact to when you tell them at a later stage, they will even sweat out more. So it is best that you integrate in the initial phase itself, and make your agenda absolutely clear that the kind of technology which you are using to secure that technology, A, B, C, D things are required, and they are
For full course video training, visit MildainTrainings.com. Register now.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.